lots of information from the research, the wolf, especially the wolf research community.
The Voyager wolf, yeah.
The Voyager wolves, yeah, about dogs eating secondary foods and what I regard to be secondary foods for dogs. There's no question in anybody's mind that when a dog has a choice between meat or prey and plant foods like fruit, they're going to eat prey. I mean, even a dog with a belly full of meat is going to walk right by fruit and not eat it. There's no question in anybody's mind about that. But what we haven't understood until recently, and what hasn't really been noted fairly, and I think it's because of a bit of bias going in on the part of researchers, and that's the problem with research in general. But what we've discovered lately is that they eat a lot of secondary foods. There's a lot of gaps in prey availability in the natural setting, and dogs fill it in with the fruits that they can find and pilfer. And they live near orchards, they live near vineyards, believe it or not. Coyotes live near apple trees, and we see them eating fruit. We see them eating a lot of fruit. We see them going to a lot of trouble to get it, and they're obviously not well adapted to eating it. I mean, it's a whole lot easier for a human to climb an apple tree if he or she has to get to the apples than it is for a coyote to do it. But we've seen coyotes do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we get really hungry and like we're out in the desert with rabbits, and the only thing we can do is, fashion some trap or try to chase a rabbit down. I mean, when we're clumsy, slow moving humans try to chase a rabbit down, we look a bit like a coyote climbing a fruit tree. It's kind of the same.
Yeah.
That can be used for food for us if we need it, but it's not our first food. Our first food is to reach up and grab the fruit. Right. Well, for dogs, their first fruit is chasing the rabbit down. If they have rabbits, they're going to go after the rabbits.
Yeah.
If there's no rabbits around, they're going to eat. They're going to try and get the fruit out of the trees if they can.
So what do you think this eating of fruit is doing for the health of these wild animals? It's obviously reducing the amount of meat that they're consuming, making it much less than what an animal, companion animal today would typically consume. So what is it doing exactly that is helping with their overall health and their longevity?
And that's the crux of the issue, because it's not necessarily what they're eating. So it's not that their bodies are suddenly being flooded with nutrients. We love to hear that, because that means all we need to do is add something. We need to add something to the body. We need to add nutrients, and that's important. Yeah, it's important to get nutrients into the body for sure. But what's more important is what you take away. And when you're feeding fruit and all secondary foods, plant foods, you're removing the cause of the vast majority of disease in dogs, and that is the animal fat that is found in all commercial dog foods. And it's this animal fat, and it needs to be explained. I mean, I've explained it a million times, but once again, it's when agricultural animals are fed what they're fed, their bodies store those harmful substances that can't be used and can't be eliminated fast enough in fatty tissues. And those fatty tissues follow the supply line, all the supply chain, all the way down to you. Nobody cuts it off. Nobody gets rid of it. The producer puts it there deliberately by feeding cheap food and deliberately fattening up the animal. I mean, this concept of deliberately fattening an animal for market, it's so taken for granted in our culture. That's just something farmers do. Oh yeah, they just fatten their product up. Well, that's fraud. That's putting something on that animal that wouldn't normally be there.
Right.
It's pathological. It causes pathology in everybody who eats it, humans included, dogs included, cats included. Everybody who eats it gets sick.
Yeah.
But nobody gets rid of it along the supply chain. It gets all the way down to the raw ground, the commercial, raw dog food that you can buy in the store,
right,
or the hamburger or whatever. And you get stuck with it. I mean, if you buy it in the form of a product that can't be, where the fat cannot be removed, your dog's going to be sick.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
So for, like, if you're a PMR feeder, really there wouldn't be much that you would have to do in order to improve what you're doing currently if you would just substitute some of the days, or extend the days that you're feeding meat so that there is some space in there, whether it's fasting or whether it's a fruit meal, for instance. But to get back to your fat situation, is it just animal fat? Because, you know, a lot of people, they'll stick in the coconut oil in these meals, and everybody thinks coconut oil is, you know, so great.
It's mostly animal fat, but there's no oil that's good for dogs.
Yeah.
Absolutely no oil. There's no free oil trees in nature. The oils are very taxing on the liver. The dogs have no capacity for digesting oils, and oils, when they're fed with carbohydrates, especially because people will tend to put coconut oil in with their plant meals and whatnot to make them more appealing for the dogs, or help the skin or the coat or whatever they think it's doing. And it actually coats the carbohydrate and makes it really hard for the body to break down the sugars. So I don't recommend feeding any oils at all. It's mostly animal fat that causes the problem, though.
Yeah. So what about barf feeders? So you know, if you're a PMR feeder, you could pretty much introduce some, you know, additional plant days when you're not feeding meat to help, you know, reduce that toxic burden. But what about barf feeders who are already incorporating plant foods in their meals?
Right. And PMR feeders can do more than just feeding meat only, you know, 2 or 3 times a week instead of every day. They can take steps to remove animal fat from the diet. And, you know, PMR feeders, there's a lot of PMR feeders out there. And for those who don't know, it stands for Pay Model Raw, that will just rave and rave about how PMR, you know, cured this or that in their dog. And it's absolutely true, because what you've done is, once again, you've removed the cause of the problem. What the dog was eating before caused the disease. And PMR represents enough of an improvement that the body was able to catch up on its eliminated backlog and solve whatever problem, you know, that was causing the disease.
Right.
So, but it just doesn't go far enough. And what people discover when they're doing PMR is that there's this, you know, PMR has this reputation of being the absolute best way you can feed your dog. So when people still continue to have problems with their dogs on PMR, they think, you know, they go to genetics, they blame genetics, or they blame vaccinosis. And it's not like those things aren't legitimate problems. But when you go in assuming that those are the cause of the issue, then the only thing you can do is just manage it.
Yeah, and start incorporating supplements like turmeric paste and all of these things.
Right, and those things are so popular in the PMR. And that just shows you that PMR isn't the be-all, end-all, because there's so much supplement and remedy use in that community. But so that's, you know, another thing that the PMR feeders can do. But the barf